Good evening and welcome. This is News 360 from the News Hub here in Accra.
I'm Natalie Fort. A look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxipade, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Premier Health Insurance.
Patients being turned away at Dansoman Polyclinic following reintroduction of cash and carry by management.
And pupils of Tion Basic School in the Timpani district study in dilapidated classrooms as pupils use gallons as desk.
On the international front this evening, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro says perpetrators of what he says was an assassination attempt against him will face maximum punishment. Stay with us here on News 360. We've got the details of these stories and much more news. As always, our bulletin is streaming live all across the world on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Now, very first story this evening, residents of Dansoman and environs are in a dilemma over where to access healthcare following the reintroduction of the cash and carry by management of the Dansoman Polyclinic. Patients who could not afford are being turned away as officials say they can no longer afford the indebtedness that's due to the delays in reimbursing NHIS claims.
The Dansoman Polyclinic has over the years been saddled with myriad of challenges. Aside the huge infrastructure and space deficit comes the issue of indebtedness. The facility, which depends heavily on internally generated funds, is unable to meet its costs of healthcare provision, mainly due to delays in the reimbursement of NHIS claims. The development prompted a decision by management few years back to reverse the cash and carry system. 2 years down the line, management say they are unable to bear the burden due to unpaid NHIS claims. As a result, patients who cannot pay for their healthcare needs are being turned away. The clinic has only one maternity ward as nurses and other medical staff operate from corridors. There are daily congestion. Patients, we were told, are often attended to on the open floor. Record keeping is another challenge. Patients' folders are left scattered on corridors and on the floor. Land purchased by the administration for expansion still lie fallow. Officials were, however, tight-lipped. Attempts to get some clarification from the Accra Metro Health Directorate was also not successful. Sources say they can only respond to any query if a formal request is made through letter of permission.
Certainly, Issa. But in some other news in relation to drug addiction, this is a headline story of ours this evening on News 360. Now, he became a drug addict at the age of 14 after losing his parents and dropping out of school. In the following report, Ajwa Adobia Owusu tells the story of 50-year-old Francis Mensah, who has been doing drugs since his teenage years.
Drug abuse is the patterned use of a substance in which the user consumes the substance in amount or with methods which are harmful to themselves or others. In recent times, alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, and some other drugs have taken over the lives of young people. The recent craze about tramadol and the extent to which teenagers are abusing these drugs are enormous. Meet 50-year-old Francis Mensah. He has been roaming the streets of Ntin, a suburb of Cape Coast, begging for food and money to buy drugs, his daily lifestyle for the past 36 years in order to survive. He narrates how the drugs he takes aid him to steal.
My mom was very poor, so when she passed away, I was influenced by my peers to go into drugs so we can steal.
And even though Francis is now remorseful, he feels helpless about his state.
If I get a rehab, I will go. All I need is good food and peace of mind. Please help me.
This led me to a behavior modification center, St. Rita's, which has been classified as a place of possibilities, and the director at the center offered to help. On July 19, 2018, Francis Mensah was taken to the Life Sciences Medical Laboratory in Cape Coast by the director of St. Rita's Center, Amasego, to run series of tests on Francis.
So many years of his life lost to drugs, and it's so disheartening. But we thank God for the good person who decided to bring him here.
The director further pledged to support Francis with 1,000 Ghana cedis to start a business after recovery. The psychologist at the center, Sule, after a series of questions and tests, spoke to the news team.
His position is very difficult, so he will need a lot of care and attention. One, he doesn't have as much support as other addicts do get from their families. See, that's one of the key problems identified. Okay. The family is away from him. He's deep into the addiction. Normally when I'm speaking to addicts, I tell them that when you're using drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be weed, whatever you're using, from heroin, whatever it is, it will cut your ties with your families because you're stealing from them. You're taking money from them all the time, lying to them. So they will cut those ties that you have with your family. Then it's just left with you and the drug. And that's when it kills you. But your intervention was key.
It was finally time for Francis to be taken to the center, but before that, his future after the center had to be decided. That took me to the former Archbishop of the Catholic Church in Cape Coast, Most Reverend Nketia, who confirmed he had seen Francis on several occasions and supported him in many ways, but had to give up after a terrible experience.
4 of them, 3 were sitting at the back of my car, and 1 was in front. At that time, they had started building my retirement home. I had taken 2,800 cedis to go and buy cement. I thought they were honest men who needed help and all that. And then when I came back, didn't suspect anything. When I went to the petrol station to buy, the bag was there, but the money was not there. So I proceeded. I know where they are. I didn't know it was a drug nest. I went there and discovered that they had shared most of the money. And so I took to their heels. And we caught one and gave him to the police. In short, how I got to know him, before then he had been coming with others for a long time. And so then since then I said they shouldn't come because I discovered that I was supporting drug addiction.
He still had open arms to welcome Francis after his long stay at the behavior center and promised to give him a place to work and stay if it becomes necessary. Section 5 of the Narcotics, Drugs Control, Enforcement and Sanctions states that no person shall without lawful authority or excuse smoke, sniff, consume, inject in his body or otherwise administer a narcotic drug on his body. It is therefore imperative that those in such conditions are shown love and care to recover from drug abuse.
You're on News 360 and we will return shortly with Mission.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for our mission segments, which is brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. Now, very first story in Mission this evening, pupils of Teong Basic School in the Tempane district of the Northern region are battling poor infrastructure. Stanley Niblo reports the children do not only study in dilapidated classrooms, but they also use gallons as desks.
Teaching and learning under very difficult conditions.
The envelope is the glass. A is under the glass.
The Tiong Primary School serves 5 other communities with a population of over 200. The school feeding program has enhanced enrollment.
They were not coming. Let's say last time like this, the KG2, they were not up to 10. The KG1, 2, they were not up to 10. All these grown-ups sitting here, they were not attending school. But when they started cooking, they have to come to school. And some of them, they will even come, the parents will not even follow them to come and write their names.
But teaching and learning has not seen improvement.
Being in this class as a teacher self is very difficult, but sometimes you are a professional teacher, so you need to do what to help the children.
Buildings are weak. Rains have washed away portions, endangering lives of pupils. Kindergarten 1 and 2 are taught under trees, and they learn to write on the floor. Furniture is a challenge too. Classes 1, 2 and 3 have no desks. Pupils are the losers. Being innovative, pupils of lower primary use gallons.
That is what they use in support of writing their papers. You know, there is no a single dual desk here they can sit on and then write. So sometimes some will use the paper and put on their laps. Some will use gallons in support as a table.
Upper primary has some desks, though inadequate. Teachers have asked for help.
I use the desks like first come, first serve, because the total population in my class is high, but the chairs are not also up.
Textbooks are a challenge.
We have to go to different schools, our nearby schools, to borrow those books and come and make learning effective.
The district assembly is, however, working at addressing education challenges.
The issue of Tiong has been brought to our attention. I think the estimates are with my coordinating director. Why we haven't expedited, we have not taken very swift action on it is because we have been waiting for some transfer that from which we will let the contractor at least give us 3 classrooms for the start. In fact, before the rain set in, we were thinking of doing a pavilion. But upon the advice of my team, we said that it was better that we do it in the best of shape so that we don't go back another time to do it. I think our attention also has been drawn to that school from the Education Directorate. It is for that reason that I had to even use some bit of lobbying to ensure that that school gets school feeding so that we keep the school children together pending government's activity or government's action to get them a befitting classroom for their studies.
The assembly says it will need more support to develop education in the area.
Is in the glass. C is beside the glass.
Well, certainly a very worrying situation there in need of immediate action by duty bearers. But let's stay on education, as pupils of Kasingo Basic School in the Bongo district of the Upper East region are in a difficulty. Inadequate classrooms is impacting negatively on teaching and learning. Bright Nana Amfo reports that the assembly is appealing to individuals and philanthropists to help put up a structure for the school.
The school is deprived. It has only 2 blocks for the primary. Junior high school 1 to 3 sits under trees. The privation is all over. Several children are disadvantaged. Results show average performance, but inadequate infrastructure is hampering efforts of teachers.
We have only 2 blocks, and these blocks were meant for only primary before the other GHS. And the GHS from 1 to 3, no classrooms. So we sit on the trees. So it's only formed they are inside because we see that they need help. So we put them inside the class so that we can help them, polish them to go and write the BEC.
Kasingo is a farming community and incomes are low. This is what they have put up to be used by the junior high school. It started 4 years ago. This is what their incomes can provide. The Assembly and the Education Directorate are aware of the poor situation of the school.
Most of the time you see animals around who will just be fighting and be making noise, disturbing the class. The members also in the community will be riding motorbikes around and be a little distraction. It will just, distract the whole class and then attention will not be there.
The Kasingo Basic School has enough teachers, but classrooms are inadequate. Though ready to give off their best, teachers are challenged.
We don't seem to get any answers to what we complain about. Sometimes the community members would want to help. We have been complaining most of the time and then we don't get any better response to our complaints.
In fact, junior high school 2 pupils had demonstrated over inadequate classrooms just before the last basic education certificate examination.
I was teaching mathematics and I don't know, some boys were making noise at the back, so I tried to find out why they were making noise and they were complaining of the weather. So I said, oh, but this has been our situation, so they should just, no, they cannot continue. They've even heard the Form 3s will be moving to Bongo to write their final exam, so I should stop teaching. They will not learn again. They are going to the headmaster.
The Assembly says it is unable to raise funds immediately to put up structures.
I'm sure you would have seen some schools that still sit under trees. Kasingo is one. We are working assiduously to see how we can channel our resources into education. The money isn't there, and we don't know when the money will come. So what we ought to do is to work within our local resources. That is why we need to improve upon our IGF. We need to task the people. We need to call on our citizens, those Bongo people who are outside, to come to our aid.
The Bongo district is also striving at getting furniture to fix the over 6,000 deficit schools in the district are faced with. The Assembly is appealing for support to improve education.
Just moving like this, it doesn't come down. Very good. That is a very good suggestion. So now, as we are going...
And that's how we wrap up our mission segment this evening. It's brought to you by Star Ghana with support from UK Aid, Danida and the European Union. You can get some more on our stories on mission on our website. It's 3news.com. Over to you, Isa. In the area of education, Registrar of Scholarships Kingsley Ajiman has encouraged students to seek information and prepare themselves adequately for opportunities available to elevate their academic credentials. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of SOS Herman Minor at Isiakwa in the Eastern region, the registrar said the Scholarship Secretariat has introduced new operational systems aimed at deepening trust and confidence in the award scheme.
Kingsley Ajiman said the Scholarship Secretariat under its new management has introduced new operational systems aimed at deepening trust and confidence in the scholarship awards.
And Quran was scholarship, so headmasters, headmistress, school administrators, still almost for so parents, to school fees. Let me sound this caution. Students be awarded by Government of Ghana scholarship, so school be any kinds of heading or permanent. School bien was one kind of wedding or show mokete. No school name for a one year, and a band ya. Now bind to a band so ye pamobi. O Pamacorano, now a band between obeying. What do you refund back command?
No school should deny any student of scholarships due them. The law will soon deal with perpetrators. He charged parents to take advantage of the free SHS to ensure their awards acquire at least senior high school education.
You're watching News 360. We've got all the news from the world of sports coming up shortly. Stay with us. You can get some more international news on our website. It's 3news.com. Up next on News 360 is entertainment. In entertainment news this evening, we start off with photography, as popular Ghanaian celebrity photographers Twins Don't Beg, known in real life as Samuel Appiah Jan and Emmanuel Appiah Jan, say they are ready to represent Ghana when it comes to photography.
Samuel graduated with a degree in post-harvest technology, while Emmanuel graduated in landscape architecture from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But the twins gave up on their certificate and decided to take up photography alongside blogging. They established a name for themselves by choosing the catchy brand name Twins Don't Beg, which is easy to use to win clients. The initial brand name, Twins Don't Beg, blew them up on campus. They then added Swag of Africa, which became the official brand name for their photo works. Swag of Africa is now the official social media manager for the Second Lady, Mrs. Samira Bawumia. In an interview with Justice Mensah on TV3 Talent Saturday, Twins Don't Beg disclosed how ready they are to represent Ghana in photography.
By 5 years' time, we should be working with brands like BET, Grammy.
You know how to do the dance.
No, it's quite an interesting dance, but it's been a move that's been around, but I'm sure he's highlighted it and brought it alive. Eddie K, congratulations. You're watching News 360, and that's all time will allow for this edition. I am Issa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Force. Visit our website. It's 3news.com for some more news. Thanks so much for watching. Have a pleasant evening.